Word on the street is that there is pee in the 40 plus dating pool. But today's guest not only begs to differ, but believes with her whole heart, pun intended, that it's not too late for love for the 40 plus and single crew. If you happen to be new to me, I'm glad that you're here. I'm Danielle the Coach, a former FBI analyst turned serial entrepreneur and Amazon bestselling author of The Six Figure Quitter, The Entrepreneur's Guide to Transitioning Out of Your 9 to 5 Without Regret. And I've made it my business to help other six figure earners make strategic, profitable, and purpose driven career pivots in the next 6 to 12 months without regret. On this episode of the Ask Me How I Know with Danielle the Coach show, I am joined by Sharon Jenkins, who is known as the Love Broker and is a speaker, educator, strategic communication professional, and founder of 40 Plus and Flirty, a thriving community dedicated to helping mature adults build meaningful, healthy, and intentional relationships. As the creator and host of the Love on Purpose, the 40 Plus and Flirty Singles Conference, her mission is to inspire transformation, foster meaningful connections, and remind people that it's never too late for love. If you are watching live with me, do me a favor and say, hey, Sharon, in the chat and help me give her a warm welcome. If you happen to be watching the replay, I want you to type replay in the comments wherever you may be watching because we're streaming to a couple places. And I'll make sure to come back through and show you some love. Sharon,
Hello,
welcome.
hello.
The wait is over.
Yes.
I posted a video yesterday and I said, have you ever had a conversation with someone, like the very first conversation, and it's just like this instant chemistry? You find like you have so many things in common. They're a vibe, you're a vibe, and it's like a breath of fresh air. And I was talking about you. And so I'm really,
Yes.
really excited to have this conversation because I know a little bit about what's going on in these 40 plus single streets and whatnot. I have my ear to the streets. But I also know that there is a lot ruminating around the business side of the dating industry, the inner workings of it. And so there's a lot swirling. And I think that, well, I know our conversation tonight is going to cover a number of bases. And so I don't want to keep the people waiting, Sharon. Like let's just dive into it because I know there are thoughts, I know that there are opinions. But I also know that there are some that still believe in love, even if it's taking the scenic route to get there. So, Sharon, before we get into all of that good stuff, beyond all the titles and the accolades and all of the things that I shared when I read your bio, before you even became the love broker, right? Before 40 plus and flirty, who is Sharon beyond all of that?
I can remember being in my undergrad program at Norfolk State University. And we had to write a paper on who am I. And that was the first time that I really sat down and looked and thought about who am I really? And I'm a sister, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a grandmother, I'm a lover, I'm an author, sometimes I'm an actress, I'm a playwright. I am so many things. But when you put it all together, I'm a creative.
Mm,
I look at possibilities and sometimes I investigate probabilities. And that's the way I've kept hope alive in my life over these years.
did you say you look at possibility and investigate probability?
hmm
Now, Sharon, you talking to a math major now. You speaking my language now. You know we got to dive into that a little bit. Tell us more, Sharon.
Well, a possibility is something yet to be embraced. A probability is a proposal. Those are two different things.
Hmm.
Yeah. A proposal, it might be okay and it might not. But a possibility has hope wrapped around it. You know what I mean? And then it can energize you, it can make you feel like you can walk on clouds. Just the possibility of something happening. So probability is something that may already be established, and it may or may not happen, but a possibility is limitless.
Mm. When you talk about possibilities, I'm drawing a blank on the exact quote right now, but it's so much in alignment with this conversation around like love and all of the things. It's a quote from Love Jones,
Ooh.
and I know it, but I can't get it down pat in my mind. If anybody's watching and they know that quote from um, Love Jones, I think it's something around like we've exhausted the possibilities or something like that, and it hits me right there every time.
Ooh. We gotta find out what that is.
Yes, 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 yes. If you're watching and you can grab that quote for me, just Google it for me and put it in the chat, and I'm gonna put it on the screen. I don't know why I can't think of it right now, but that's exactly what you just said. Where it took me. Okay, and just housekeeping. If you're here with us live, let us know where you're watching from.
Mhm.
Talk to us in the chat. We'll talk back to you. I promise. We intend for this to be an engaging and interactive, conversation as we tackle this from a couple of different angles. You ready, Sharon?
Oh, absolutely. Let's do this thing.
All right. And so the work that I do as Danielle the Coach, wearing my Danielle the Coach hat, like pivoting is the name of the game. Pivoting is what we do, pivoting is what we explore, pivoting is what we navigate, pivoting is what we overcome. And sometimes the pivots are planned, sometimes pivots are unexpected. We're living in a day and time now where over 600,000 Black women have been pushed out of the workforce, right? So the pivot wasn't optional.
Mm-hmm.
People like me who decided to choose option D, none of the above, I chose the path less taken, and to bet on me and God. But my pivot was my pivot. And I say often that not all pivots are created equal, right? But a pivot is a pivot. And I absolutely love coming across other creatives, other entrepreneurs, other brave hearts, other trailblazers, other go getters who have navigated and live to tell about a pivot or pivots of their own. And I see you as being one of those, one of my fellow pivoteers, if you will, or one of my fellow pivot peers. I might have to coin something in there I was just saying. But in that space, I know you were a literary midwife and
Mm-hmm.
a literary agent before you became the love broker.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, I'll say it this way. That's my kind of pivot because it's not one that you see or hear of every day, right? It's not so obvious. So help us understand, like, what is the connection between those two worlds and how did one lead to the other?
So I am still the literary midwife. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. So I've seen a lot
Mhm.
and I've experienced a lot and I've helped a lot of authors. Um, Recently, I decided to join an agency where I am an actual literary agent. It is the natural progression based on my experience because as a literary midwife, every area of the publishing cycle, I've helped people. help people birth their books. So, where was the pivot? I really didn't do a complete pivot. I just saw a need. And I frankly, I got tired of my girlfriends um, saying, there ain't no good men out there. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I got enough money in my banking account. All that. And I was like, where did all this come from? And earlier you mentioned the fact that there are thousands of Black women who lost their jobs. Okay. That is all part of a construct that was put in place back on the plantation to dismantle the Black family. Okay. So the same thing has happened in our relationships. There's always been an unequal scale. Either we're leaning to one side or the other. And I believe that women have had this desire, and men likewise, to be in healthy relationships. And I believe that you need to continue to pursue that desire, regardless of what's happening in the culture. Because statistics say well, let's go to the Bible. When two are joined together, like you got a friend, you fall in the ditch, okay, you can help each other out. But if you fall in the ditch by yourself, you stuck. Okay. So there's been that great divide. And that divide first started on the plantations. Okay. And we know the story. I don't have to reiterate it here. But systematically over the years, that divide has either remained the same or gotten bigger. But the scale tips one way or it tips the other, but it never balances. And so when we want something to happen, like the civil rights era, when we wanted something to happen, we were intentional about that thing. And we still have to be intentional about relationships and see the value, not through the lens of me, myself, and I, but take a step outside of yourself and look at the cultural value of two people coming together and forming a healthy relationship. So my pivot is because people need to be informed. People need to be encouraged in the form of my midwifery. People need to be hugged sometimes. They need to be hugged and they need to be loved to the understanding that you stop too soon. Okay. You stop too soon, and we're here to help you take another step. Find the courage to take another step.
Sierra, thank you. Sierra went and found the quote for me from Love Jones. Romance is about the possibility of the thing. When people who've been together a long time say that the romance is gone, what they're really saying is that they've exhausted the possibility. As only Lorenz Tate could say.
That's
Okay.
good. That's good. That's good. And that's
end,
true.
end quote. End quote. Thanks, C. I appreciate you because that was tearing me up. I was so mad I couldn't remember that. But one of the things, okay, so in reading like your bio, and then when you kind of went down the litany of characteristics that describe who Sharon C. Jenkins is at her core, one of the words that came up for me then was multi hyphenate. But then when you shared that you are still a literary midwife, right? In addition to being the love broker, the multi hyphenate thing comes up again, and I think that's so. like on point and timely, because that is something that I personally have toiled and battled with, being on this side of the 9 to 5 as a full-time entrepreneur, the quote unquote best of the best, that have been in the game for eons will tell you, oh, pick one thing and stick to it, find a lane and stick to it. Well, that doesn't work so
Mm,
well for a multi hyphenate. And yes, it might take us a little bit longer, or maybe a lot a bit longer, to get to the promised land, because our attention is divided. But when you're wired a certain way and the calling over your life um, is divided in a sense, there's a different way that we have to tackle like our purpose and our purpose assignments. And
mm,
it's beautiful to see it, to be in it, and be able to see maybe even outside of yourself when you're able to, when the thing starts to come together and it starts to make sense. But my God, when you're in the midst of it and the clarity isn't so clear, it can be very painful. And so it's also refreshing to be across the screen from another multi hyphenate, but that's doing great things and still um, like that, doing the balancing act thing, right? And dividing your genius, but also continuing to move the needle forward on both ends of the spectrum,
mhm.
as and where and when and how necessary. So I wanted to just give you some love when it comes to that, because I know, if I don't know anything else, I know it's not easy. Right?
Well, actually, I've always been a great starter. And my military training, I am a veteran,
Hmm.
makes me a good finisher. You talked a little bit about pain. I was listening to somebody, and for some reason, that person's name is escaping me. And
Mhm.
they were talking about how your purpose is not eradicated because of the pain that happens in your life. Purpose trumps pain. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't hurt, that you don't grieve, that people aren't messy. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? But what it means is when you have a purpose, when you are focused, matter of fact, when it's your God given purpose, no matter what you go through, not mitigating it or minimizing it, because pain is pain and that stuff hurts.
Mhm.
But your purpose is higher than that. And the only way that you can get off purpose is if you stop you. And sometimes you can't stop you either. Okay. So I want people to understand. I understand the pain of rejection, of abandonment. I understand the pain of neglect in relationships. But here I am still believing in a love that I believe God ordained for us to have. And truth be told, I'm going to say this, you ought to be pissed off if you don't get it. If it's something you want. Now, I have the utmost respect for people who say, I'm done. If you say you're done, I'm not really talking to you. But who I'm talking to is that person who is still in the middle, and maybe they're caught up in this cage of pain and disappointment and
Mhm.
abandonment, and he did me or she did that. I have a very close friend, and unfortunately, he's in the midst of divorce.
Mhm.
He's a good guy. He really is a good guy. But I watched him navigate the separation and now the divorce. And it shocked me because he went to whatever length it took him to get the help he needed, the therapy. needed to form the circle of brothers around himself to support him. Those things he needed, he got them. He didn't
Mhm.
wallow in his pain. And I'm bringing that example because traditionally women are a little bit more inventive and they recognize that, oh, I'm bleeding here. Let me go talk to somebody. Oh, but I use the male example because I want the ladies to know there are some men out there who are intentional about becoming whole again
Mhm.
because they are intentional about loving again the right. So I hope I answered your question.
You did. You did. Now, I wanna lean in before we get into the love stuff, right? Because I know once we open up that box, like we going all the way in. But I would be remiss if I didn't touch on the business piece of it, right? Because I know my audience, those that are tethered to me, they follow me, they interact with me, they are attracted to the things that I typically speak about. So this is a bit different, right? But it's tangentially related. Like I'm gonna make the thing work, and I think it's a necessary conversation, especially for those. And I speak in my own experience when I made the pivot out of my six-figure good government job, with the FBI, and
Ooh, girl, I've been
into
there.
into entrepreneurship. There was a season where I felt like I had to put love and relationships on the shelf. Or even if I dabbled, I didn't take it but so serious because I felt like I had to um I felt like I wasn't as powerful or on point or as together as I was when I checked all of those boxes when I had that job, right? So things felt a little bit looser. They felt a little less stable while I was in the building and the forming and the norming phases of defining what this life, where it's just me and God. God is my CEO, right? What that looks like. And so I know that there are people just like me who think and feel the same way, especially driven Black women in the way that we can be wired. And so thinking about it from like the business standpoint, I see what it is that it's easy to see what you do and we go straight to the personal side of it, right? But from a business standpoint, you identified an underserved market,
Mm-hmm.
built the whole brand, the whole movement, a whole community around it,
Mm-hmm.
created multiple revenue streams, which is the dream,
Mm-hmm.
right? For those in the entrepreneurship space. Like we have the vision, but it's like, now how do I monetize this? How do I capitalize on it? And even when we can see it, maybe even in black and white, actually getting somebody to give you money in exchange for your good or service it could be harder than what people give it credit for, right? Especially when it's not something that people use every day or something that people are used to paying for or that they expect to get for free. So when it comes to that, and knowing that the dating industry is a multi-billion dollar industry and you're
Mm-hmm.
carving out your own lane
Mm-hmm.
inside of it, for the entrepreneur that's watching with us either right now live or on the replay, or the person who is still sitting on that idea, like they can kind of see it, they feel it, they can't shake it, kind of even keeps them up at night. What does building a business in an unconventional space actually require?
You need to be as tenacious as a pit bull
Hmm.
because you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. And the beauty of that is those good days and bad days shape you for your next. Okay. We think, oh, when the bank account is negative 100, been there, done that. Um, I'm going to share a personal story.
Sure.
I wanted to be an entrepreneur ever since I was a little girl. I wanted to have my own daycare,
Hmm.
but I got convinced by my relatives that I needed a good government job so I could retire well. I was miserable. I spent more time doing the auxiliary stuff, like joining organizations. We had a drama group. I spent more time doing that than doing my job. And let me
Mhm.
tell you why. Because I was in a place where I needed to create. I, I want, and this is for our sisters out there, I want you to realize that your womb is a precious place. You are innovative, creative. You birth things that the world needs, not just Sally down the street or Susie around the corner. You have so much greatness that comes out of your birthing pains as an entrepreneur. It would be a sad thing for you not to say, okay, this is an opportunity. I've been laid off. This is an opportunity. I've been fired. This is an opportunity for me to see what I'm really made of. Okay. So we have been taught, ladies, Black women, that our wombs are invaluable. Now, when I say invaluable, we're just there to birth things. But God had a higher divine calling for us because I really believe that we were there in the beginning. Okay. And I believe, based on what scientists have observed about us, our molecular makeup, that the reason why there's such an attack on us is because of the greatness that God has vested in us. Okay. Now, I don't know who your God is, but I want you to understand that your creator created you to birth things into the world. And what does an entrepreneur do? An entrepreneur is a birther of ideas. Okay. So I was thinking about entrepreneurship, and it's really simple. Um, the Nike commercial, just do it. I mean, we have to put on our big girl panties and just do it. Okay. Joyce Myers has this thing, do it afraid. We've been doing stuff afraid from the time we got on the ships and was chained and beaten and raped, and we're still around. Have you noticed that we exist in excellence even after our history dictates that we totally be annihilated? We are still around for a reason. And anytime we put our mind to doing something, it happens. It happens. Michelle Obama, that girl didn't want to go to the White House. It happened. And if she ran for president today, she'd probably win. All on the I don't want to. So, the moral of the story, ladies, when it comes to entrepreneurship, recognize who you are. You have the power to birth anything into the earth. I mean, anything. Now, some people, some cultures, they can only do this or they can only do that. But because we have been tested and tried in multiple industries, in multiple occupations, in multiple careers, take that experience and allow it to liberate you to become not the billionaire, not the trillionaire, but the zillionaire that God ordained you to become. So there's no excuse. And I'm going to be honest with you, entrepreneurship sometimes hasn't been real nice to me. I'm just going to be honest. But I ain't going to quit because that's my calling. Okay. And it's like I can't not do this thing. When COVID came up, I used to work for this marketing magazine. And I just begged this man, please let me go home and work from home. I can do this from home. And he didn't want me to do that. He wanted me to be in his office so he could monitor me. Okay. Well, I ended up leaving and building the literary midwife. And so when COVID hit, he called me to ask me something about his book, because he knows I'm a repository about book stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, well, how are you adjusting to working from home? And then he answered his own question. You've been working from home for forever. And so this doesn't affect you. Why? I had the foresight to see the value of working within my own experience from my own home. And when COVID hit, I didn't miss a lick. Yeah, I was ready to do Bible studies online, and I did for a group of ladies. The whole time we did COVID, I still handled my clients. It was unusual for them to reach out to me and to work with me online because that's the way I've always done it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, and just another piece to that, right? What would you say to the person who has a passion that they've not yet given themselves permission to monetize?
Go on an exploratory journey. Set up an incubator, a situation where you test the waters. Okay. And again, do it afraid.
Hmm. And add tax, please.
I mean, just do it. I mean, for example, oh, let's say you're a good Cajun cook and you make the best whatever. Okay. And people have told you that for years. And some people have even suggested that you market what you make the best. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. Now, how can I say this? You can go to AI and they can create a website for you in little or no time.
Mm-hmm.
You have access to social media free. You can sign up for a Facebook account for free, TikTok for free. You don't have to pay for none of that. And just let people see you do what you do. And when the testimonials come in, guess what? You got yourself a little business. Test the waters. Put yourself in an incubator. Say, I'm going to do this for 3 months and measure your success.
Sometimes you just gotta do it. You just gotta start without all the answers. I feel that. I feel that so much.
And
Okay,
sometimes you learn on the way.
that part on the job training. That is for sure. There's something about the iteration and the continuous process improvement. Once you find a thing that you want to tweak and perfect, and every single time that you leverage it or you sell it, right? Or you offer it and it just gets better and better. There is something intrinsic about that. I get it's not lost on me. That's the hardest part is finding the thing in its imperfect state that you almost embarrassed to offer in its in its natural state, right? That's fresh out of your brain. But there are people that I've this is what I've learned in my journey as an entrepreneur. There are people that will meet you at every stage of this iteration process. There are people that will buy it, you know, in its most imperfect form and be just as happy because they know, like, and trust you and they're not judging it. And that gives you the testimonials, like you were talking about. It gives you the muscle memory. It gives you the option to continuously improve whatever that thing is, so that when the people who don't know you, like you, and trust you already, when they meet you, they are interested in your product, and your product has gone through the ringer because of the grace of others who met you earlier in the journey. And it's the gift that keeps on giving. And it's just like people, I've always been surprised that like they bought that? Like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm the judgmental one, right? Maybe I'm the one with the problem. So I can speak to experience that. Yes, just do it, make the offer, make the ask, make the sale, ask for the money, charge the price, add the tax, raise the price, do it scared. Like everything that you are saying is so spot on. And even knowing these things, right, hearing it come from across the screen,
Mm.
like the battery in my back is getting recharged. Because I'm telling you, you wait till I get off this live stream. You better watch out.
Let me tell you one other thing.
Yes.
You know what is the confirmation of true success?
What's
You
that?
ready?
Yeah.
Can you imagine when you make your first $1,000, and
Mhm.
then your 10,000, and then your 100,000,
Come on now.
and then your million, and then your billion, because you had the courage to say yes to you. And don't listen to the bystanders, because somebody always got an opinion about something. Girl, I didn't know you did this. Girl, you need to go sit down because you don't know what you're doing. Girl got an opinion. Put on earmuffs and keep moving.
Yeah.
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 keep, keep moving. This is your journey. You got a destination in mind, and you have a right, a God given right, to go on this journey and to make it to your destination.
Hmm. Now so my audience is a mix of millennials, which I identify as, and also Gen Z. Now
Mhm.
I identify as a geriatric millennial. I'm on the I'm on the cusp, right? But I am a millennial. And so one of the things that I know is that many of us, especially on that cusp, on the upper echelon of the millennial scale, we're in our 40s now.
Mhm.
And a lot of the people, men and predominantly women, but men and women that are in my sphere, this bubble that I created, the community and the space that I've created,
Mhm.
we're in that 40 plus. And there are a number of us who are single.
Mhm.
Some are newly single, coming out of long-term relationships, some divorcees. And then there's some who have been single for longer than they're willing to admit. But so this the matters of the heart are not lost on us who identify as single, however we got here, or for whatever reason that we remain here, right? There's no judgment,
Uh,
but it's something that stares back at us every single day, especially every time we leave like the house, or you turn on the TV, or you listen to the music, especially for, I was talking about Love Jones earlier. Like that's a classic, stays in the rotation, and then for those of us that love I'm an R&B girl. I can't get away from it. You know what I mean? And so for someone who has never in that space, but they've never heard the term love broker, explain exactly what you do, and from your vantage point, working with women and men over 40 every day, what patterns are you seeing that most people aren't talking about?
so I was at a women's event, and I got an award. And part of the awards, thank you, part of the award ceremony was to go up and just tell a little bit about who you are. And I talked about the 40 plus and flirty. And before I actually got up, I was going around to the tables and sharing information about the 40 plus and flirty. So when I went up to get my award, one of the ladies screamed out from the table, "That's the love doctor! That's the love doctor!" I said, "Oh my God." Well, we know love doctor is a term that's been used by so many people. So I said, well, I'm not really a matchmaker or a relationship coach. What I do is I get in the middle, and a broker gets in the middle of things like a traffic cop. You
Mhm.
go here, you go there.
Mhm.
And the love broker was birthed out of the concept that what I do is I find the experts, vet them, and I bring them together in the form of a virtual summit or a conference, in person conference. And you get to come and you get to shop. Not only do you get to shop, you get to hear their depth of wisdom and knowledge and expertise. Like
Mhm.
Jennifer J. Hayes, 26 years in the industry. She doesn't look a day, baby, over 39, if that. And on top of that, the girl know her stuff. Every I'm always doing a radio show or podcast or something. And
Mhm.
for the last 5 years on Valentine's Day, she has come and spent Valentine's Day with me because we're talking about love. Okay, so I just literally decided to put a ring on it, make it official. I love, I love love.
Mhm.
I love to see people in love, just like I love to see them holding that book, baby. You know, that first book you get, you
Mhm.
hold it in your hand
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, I created. You see your name on it, you get excited. Well, a love broker is someone who gets in the middle and points you to resources that help you either get over the hurt and the pain
Mhm.
and disappointment of the failure of past relationships, help you find a matchmaker or relationship coach that helps get you ready for love, or, put you in a situationship, a good
I
situation.
was getting ready to say now,
Wait a
Sharon.
minute, look at
Hold
that.
on.
I had to say that. Good. We put negative connotations on words that have good meanings too. Put you in a situationship that you can practice.
Mm.
You can practice, like we've done a simulated balloon experience. We've hosted workshops. I had a panel where the topic was what men want women to know about
Mhm.
dating, all that wonderful kind of stuff. I've interviewed over 30 relationship experts.
Mhm.
We're talking about MDs. We're talking about mental health professionals. We're talking about one lady she's probably 85 now, who's called the sexpert. Okay. And so I'm sharing this with you because we don't know what we don't know.
Mhm.
And one of my observations has been is that we think that we're driving this bus, but we ain't getting nowhere. Okay. And I understand that a relationship or falling in love is a personal thing,
Mhm.
but we spend zillions of dollars getting college educations, or investing in our careers or even in our businesses, but
Mhm.
we won't invest in one of the most important things in our lives, and that is finding a partner. And I can tell you from my experience in interviewing not just relationship experts and matchmakers, I'm going to be honest with you. I never even knew that there were Black matchmakers.
Mm.
I never, and then I held a panel discussion, and 5 of them were in the room in the Houston area.
Wow.
Ain't nobody flew in from nowhere. Yeah, you see where I'm coming from.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so that was eye opening. But I also interviewed 5 couples who found love later in life.
Mhm.
And their stories are beautiful
Mm.
stories. I mean, one couple was an interracial couple, one a pastor, no, 2 pastors. They found each other, and I happen to know both of them.
Mhm.
Um, oh, the scandalous couple, Pierre and Rhonda, baby. When you read your magazine, you're gonna read their story.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. But Rhonda was one of my first book clients,
Okay.
and I helped her write her book, Delay is Not Denial. She has a nonprofit that deals with infertility because that is
Mm.
her story. And they give away monies to help couples, you know, get the treatments that they need.
Oh
But
wow.
her story itself, I could tell you her story, and it would, ooh, you'd be rocking and rolling. But anyway, she met Pierre after a divorce, and baby, you got to go look at the video. Woo! You talking about? They told it all. ALL. I mean, they told it all. And each of them had been in multiple relationships
Mhm.
before they found each other.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm sharing this with you. You don't know what you don't know. If I stay in the house, and I'm going to be honest, I'm addicted to K dramas and romance novels. I
Me
particularly
too.
like historical romance.
Uh-oh, who's your favorite? Who's your favorite author?
Well, it's a long story. We'll get there.
Okay.
But I can tell you who my favorite romance writer is. Do you know
Yeah.
Michelle Stimson?
No, I don't know if I've heard that
Oh,
name.
baby, you need to
Oh,
go rate her. Let me
okay.
tell you, Michelle Stimson. I actually, ooh, I could tell you a story about Michelle Stimson. I read her book, and Lord Jesus, it's the title has Boaz in it, and I won't steal it from you. I won't steal the experience from you.
Okay.
But what I will tell you is she has a way of capturing your heart. It's kind of like your sister girl, like us. We holding this
Mhm.
conversation. And it's
Mhm.
like she's sitting right beside you telling this story.
Mm.
It's so it's so good. And obviously Rashonda Tate Billingsley and
Okay.
quite a few others, you know.
Mm,
But
yeah.
I'm sharing that with you to say I want people to write their own love stories.
I know that's right.
And I want to help them write their own love stories. Now, am I matchmaking? Mm-mm, child. No, I'm just helping you find the pathway. Maybe you are hesitant because of past experiences. But what I do is, you see, I'm a big grandmama.
Stop it.
And when you come to me, I just want to hug you. I want to hug you. I want to take you by your hand and say, you know what, that's a possibility. Or that's a possibility. Okay. So that's what a love broker, long way to this definition. But a love broker is someone who stands in the middle, who helps you on your journey. Now, do you need help? Yeah, no, you can do the dating apps. You can find somebody on the dating apps. I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time I've been on the dating app, the scammers just kept showing up, baby. And they even pop up on my TikTok and everything now, but that's another story. But I'm sharing this with you because I wanted us to have an intelligent way to write our own love stories. I personally believe that Black women have a right to tell their own love story, and that has been stolen from us. And we
Mm,
need to take it back.
that just gave me chills.
We need to take it back. And that's the fire behind what I do. I'm angry. How dare you steal love from us? We deserve to be loved. God ordained us as his daughters to be loved. When he gave Eve to Adam, we are in her reflection. Okay? He didn't tell us to go into the back of the plantation and just, well, I won't get that crazy. But I will tell you this, we are so much more than that.
Yes.
And our virtue, the way we love, our stick to itiveness, baby, if you want to build a mountain, marry a Black woman.
Ha! Coin that. If we didn't have more to talk about, I would say we can end the live stream right there, but we're not. Okay. We're not. Oh my gosh. When I tell you that whole write your own love story, Sharon, you got to do something with that.
Oh, I got a class. I
Oh
got
my
a class
gosh.
on that. But I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a. You know what? I can't be I can't be a publisher, a literary agent without writing my own books. And
Yeah,
I've
of
done
course.
quite a few. And I'm working on perfecting my fiction because I wrote a couple of fiction stories.
Okay.
Yeah, I fell in love with when I went to the what was it, Woman King, the Woman King, and when the Wakanda, all that stuff got out.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yep.
And I wrote this story about a Black princess whose father did not love her because she
Wow.
wasn't his firstborn son. But he had no other choice but to groom her to be a royal. And baby, the stuff she went through, then I mixed her up. He betrothed her to somebody, and it's a big mess. But anyway, I'm working on fine tuning that story. It's out there, but I'm gonna fine tune it a little
I
bit.
love it. I love it. You gotta keep us posted. And I gotta put this plug in here. So we talked about like romance. I'm a lover girl at heart. One of my favorite things to do is to get lost in a romance novel. And I also love African American historical fiction. And
Yes,
so I was
yes.
introduced to I call her Aunt Bev, Beverly Jenkins,
Oh, I forgot. I was about to say
the
her.
queen, the queen.
Oh
All
my
hail the queen.
God. Oh yes.
In my
Nobody else can
favorite.
wear that crown like she can wear it.
Listen, and if anybody's listening or watching live or in the replay, you're looking for a good book, you romance, whether you're into it or you're starting to explore, my favorite, and it's hard to say favorite because I every time I read something new, I'm like, oh, oh. But I hands down, I think my favorite one is called Indigo by Beverly
Ooh,
Jenkins.
ooh, shut
I'll
up.
say I'll say you're welcome in advance, okay?
I had to go get that now.
You're welcome. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so when it comes to love, right? You talk about looking vertically and not just horizontally. Break that down for us. And like, what does that mean and why does it change everything?
I think when you look vertically, you look with intention.
Mhm.
Okay. Horizontally, straight across. Vertically, you're looking up. What is
Mhm.
your expectation? What is your expectation? What is it that you want? And and I'm not talking about the list, because Lord Jesus, I've been around a while in Christendom and I done heard so much about this list. No,
Sharon, please.
talk to God, the one that created you. Talk to him about what do you need. You can tell him what you want, but
Mhm.
what do you need? Ask. yourself, okay, I'm intentionally dating. What do I want the outcome to be? Do I want to casually date or do I want marriage?
Mm-hmm.
And ask yourself to what extent you're willing to go in order to see the manifestation of that desire.
Mm.
So, vertically means that you look beyond what you can see right here, you look up. Now, I know some of my sisters might throw mud at me for singing this, and I'm okay with it because I know how to take a good shower. Okay, I know how to take a good shower. But, traditionally, we marry Black men. We are the slowest group of women to make that transition into marrying other races. Okay. And I love me some Black men.
Say that.
I'm going to be honest with you. I can still see, I'm telling how old I am now. I can still see Billy D. Williams and Lady Sings the Blues in that white suit.
That's my equivalent to Michael B. Jordan. Okay, I
Ooh,
feel
baby. And so I love me some Black men, but I'm also a possibility thinker.
mm-hmm.
Okay. And I met one of my speakers. Her specialty is interracial dating.
Mm-hmm.
April. Her name's April. And baby, that girl taught me some things. Okay. So when you look vertical, you look at all possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying the triceps and biceps of Black men are not available to us. I'm not saying that. What I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying is you are designed a certain way. Don't you want someone who matches your design or who complements your design? Okay. What is your aspiration? Um, you want to marry a billionaire? Okay. Do your research. Okay. I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you laugh. I used to live around a lot of military bases
Mm-hmm.
in the Virginia area.
Mm-hmm.
Marines, Airmen,
Mm-hmm.
Army, Coast Guard. Okay, you feeling me?
Absolutely.
Navy, you feeling me? Okay.
Yep.
A man in uniform, baby. Can't beat it. You can't beat it.
I was raised by one.
I'm being honest. I'm being honest. You can't beat it. And so I kept seeing these ladies of the lighter hue walking out with the generals and the colonels and the what. I'm like, what y'all doing? She said, you got to go where they are.
It ain't rocket science.
I know, you just got to go where they are. And so we can be sitting at home waiting. And the maintenance man might come by, or the postman, or the delivery man. And if that's your desire, then go for it. But look beyond yourself, look
Mm-hmm.
beyond your sphere of influence. And then sometimes he's in your sphere of influence and you just ain't been paying no attention. Okay. So be open to possibilities. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, of course you did. Of course, of course. So I know
Mhm.
you have some statistics around Black love and marriage. That's
Ooh,
an
baby. I got my cheat sheet. Y'all ready?
lay it on us.
Okay. 15 to 16 million Black adults over the age of 40. In the United States, these are specific to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
9.5 to 10.5 million of these adults are unmarried. Did you hear me? And we're talking Pew Research and the Census Bureau. This
Mhm.
isn't something I'm just putting together in my head. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right. Based on the analysis that has been done, 4 to 5 million have never been married. Nearly 3 million are divorced. About 1 to 5 to 2 million are widowed.
Mm.
And roughly 700,000 to 1 million are separated. Hmm, interesting.
Very.
Now, 4.5 to 5.5 million Black singles over 40 may be open to marriage.
I'm
That
in that
ought to
boat.
encourage
I'm
somebody.
in that boat.
Yeah, that ought to encourage somebody. 2.5 to 3.5 million may be actively seeking a marriage minded relationship.
Mhm.
Okay. We talking about they ain't this and they ain't that. They ready. Now let's talk a little bit about marriage because I want us to get this. 31% of Black adults are married, while about 50% have never been married.
Mm.
Interesting, huh?
Very.
82% of married Black adults are married to another Black person. 86 have Black husbands, that's women, and only 14% are married to someone of another race. It used to be 12%, but it went up 2%. Okay. For Black men, 78% are married to Black women, while 22% are married outside their race. Okay. So it's not as big as we thought. Okay. Everybody's not jumping the fence. All right. And
Mhm.
then interracial marriage continues to grow, representing approximately 17% of all new marriages. So it's happening, peoples. It's happening. And if you are marriage minded, there's a whole bunch of other people out there who are also.
So if that is the case, right? Because like I started off the conversation tonight with, word on the street is that
Mhm,
there is pee in this dating pool, right?
mhm,
And I
mhm,
have been one of the people who has um spoken against that and said
mhm.
like there might be pee in some pools, but it's not in every pool. And that hasn't quite been my experience when I have put my toe out there, when I feel like being bothered. Um, and I think it has a lot to do with proximity and the places like you, the point you were making, where I choose to show up, where I refuse to show up, right? But I do know that there are some horrific, um, less than desirable experiences that my fellow singles, men and women, are having, and we see the dialogue on social media. We know the experiences that we've had or heard secondhand from others that may have tried the apps. um, there's the singles in the church. It's what, one 100 women to one man. So as soon as a new man walks into the into the church
Everybody's putting
edifice,
it out there.
right? It's like everybody's going to go fishing. And so there's that at play, right? But then to hear the numbers, it's just like, well, where are the people? Do we just need to wear shirts?
It,
Put it on our chest?
no, inquiring minds want to know. Let me say this. You have to look at the optics. How are we presenting ourselves in these atmospheres?
Mhm.
Okay, that's one thing. And then the other thing is it's obvious with all of these dating initiatives that are happening now. I mean, I could stay the rest of our time together listing different dating initiatives that people are wanting to do better
Hmm.
and be better. And another thing too, we just recently got out of this what happens in this house stays in this house phase as a Black family. Okay. People are literally seeking the mental health help that they need like never before in our culture. So that's saying something. That's saying people want wholeness. People
Mhm.
want to be happy. People want to be in relationships. But you got to remember there's a couple of generations. And I love
Mhm.
y'all, by the way, all of y'all, all five of y'all generations. I love you, okay? But there are a couple of generations that got caught up in the emulating what was popular versus
Mhm.
being authentic.
Mhm.
And so, some, how can I say that? You were talking about the church, and I thought about this for a minute.
Mhm.
We teach and disciple people in the church about everything else except for singleness. After COVID, a lot of churches got rid of their singles ministries. Okay. So, and then the whole concept of singleness in the church has been treated like, it's a dirty word. Okay. I think we need to have an evolution. We need a mind shift so that we can recognize the fact that God has placed value on all seasons of life.
Mhm.
Okay. But back to this other thing about, well, where is they? Well, maybe we need to set up environments where people feel safe to be their authentic selves in. And that's what the Love on Purpose conference is all about. It
Mhm.
will be a safe place for you to come and expose that desire that you want to be married. See, we don't have enough places where we can be our authentic selves. Because if you show up as someone else, that's true deception. And so it's kind of like me going to the store and me wanting butter pecan ice cream, and I come home with vanilla. I ain't gonna be happy.
Mhm.
Okay. I might like vanilla ice cream, but I don't like vanilla ice cream as much as I love butter pecan. And so, what I'm saying here is that it's on us to create those environments where people feel safe to show up authentically. So
Mhm.
then you will know if that person is a genuine match for you, or at least disciple or train people or educate people or inform people, whatever digestible word you need. Because I don't want to offend people. Because one of the things that I've found out in my journey this last almost 2 years through this dating thing with people 40 and 50 and above is that we already think we know what we need to know, but we're not getting the results that we need to get.
Mhm.
Okay. We're assuming because we grown that we got it. We know what to do and how to do it. And then a lot of that is wrapped around intimate relationships versus being wrapped around a total holistic relationship. Okay. Um,
Mhm.
if I may be frank,
Of
and
course.
may I need your permission because I'm not going to go
Yes, you
there.
can. Yes.
Sleeping with someone and them being good in bed is different from them being a provider, from them being someone who is safe,
Mm-hmm.
someone who makes you feel safe, being a protector. That individual can perform for what, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I'm being bad now. but but do you really know who that man is? And are you trying to put that crown on him, and he ain't ready to wear the crown? Sometimes he doesn't deserve to wear the crown. You understand where I'm coming from? So we need to reevaluate who we are and what we want from relationships, and be willing to wait on that relationship. Be willing to wait, to be like investigators. We investigate everything else. Yelp is famous because of the reviews.
Now, Sharon, let me say this, right? And I'm saying this to someone who may be watching. Um, maybe they are, maybe they're not single, right? 40 plus. One of the last things, so, and this is in reference to those that are 40 plus, single, never been married, right? And maybe even childless.
Mm.
One of the things that we don't have to be told is to wait. We've been waiting 40 plus years, right?
Can I help you with that?
Yes, yes.
When I said wait, I'm not talking about waiting for years. I'm not talking about abiding in something. I'm talking about being an investigator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Don't put everything that you are, all of your diamonds and pearls and rubies and emeralds out there on the table and initially and say, I'm
Yes,
yours. You
yes.
can go into my treasury chest and take what you want because you're the one for me. And you haven't been the investigator.
Oh, I
So,
completely agree.
yeah, I'm not talking about wait, honey, child. I don't like waiting either.
No, but listen, so no, I agree 1,000,000% with what you're saying, right? But there's this tangential conversation around or sentiment around, oh, just wait, just hold on.
No,
And it's
that's
just
them.
like, I'm not 18 years old.
But that's
I'm
that.
not 25.
Well, I gotta help you with something. That's them church folk telling you to wait, cause they don't know what else to tell you. I'm breaking it down. They don't know what else to tell you. The church folk tell you don't fornicate. That's all they say. They don't say nothing about. They don't tell you nothing about how to be in a holistic relationship and how to recognize whether someone is a good match or mate for you. It's don't fornicate and don't look at my husband too long and don't wear no short skirts up there and sit on the front row.
And don't be cute. Don't
And
be cute.
don't be cute.
Don't
No.
be cute, single and without kids in the
Yeah.
church, Lord.
Ooh. And don't
Lord.
look, and don't bring a whole bunch of kids up in there because you after my husband wearing that short skirt. No, I get it. I do. I get it. And I understand that when you reach a certain before then, uh, I don't mean waiting like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean be an investigator. This is your life.
Mm-hmm.
Take charge. Get to
Yeah.
know the individual. Don't, and I haven't always been like this. I know what it's like to have a one or two night stand. Okay.
Come on,
So
Shannon. Keep it
I'm,
real.
I'm putting my business out there because it's the truth. I know what it's like. But I've always been the type of woman who could walk away from a situation,
Mhm,
especially when it didn't work for me.
mhm.
But some women get hooked.
Yes.
Okay. And in my early days, I used to get hooked. And the way I learned how to walk away from situations is because it hurt too much to be
Mm,
hooked. Okay. So I
mhm.
get it. But what I didn't do was I didn't investigate the guy. I was so caught up in the fact that he noticed me. He liked me. He wanted to go to bed with me.
Mhm.
Ooh, I'm sexy. You know what I mean? That that doesn't build long relationships. That's not a good foundation. So when I say wait, I'm saying wait to give them the key to your treasure chest. Okay?
Sierra stupid.
What she said, you nice said, I gotta try that. Well, look, nah, but not go there. They gonna take look, they gonna take my Christian card from me if I go there.
Oh my goodness. But yes, no, so I appreciate that. And I am holding the line for my fellow cute single 40 plus child free in the church, right? Because people might not think that we feel it, that we see it, but we see you holding your husband tight. Baby, I don't want that man. Trust me. I
and
don't want that man.
and
Okay.
what people don't when and unfortunately what the women don't realize is that we also daughters of the Most High God. We're daughters
Mhm.
of Abraham, and what God has for them, He also has it for us, and
Mhm.
we recognize that. I'm talking about a true Christian woman
Mhm.
who knows who she is and who her Abba is and who he calls her to be and
Mhm.
how, what he made her to be. So, that's not, look, I'm with you, sis. I am with you. I'm being honest. But who wants leftovers?
Not I, said the cat.
Yeah, who wants left? I don't want no leftovers, God. I love my sisters in Christ. I want you to know I love y'all. I love the church folk. But I also see a big gulf between what we should do to help singles make better choices. And that's another reason why there is a faith element with the Love on Purpose conference. We're
Talk
going to
talk
have
about
a couple of days of morning glory.
it.
All right.
Mhm.
And the
Mhm.
reason why we're doing that, because we're three-dimensional beings. We're spirit, we have intellect, and we have a physical body. Okay. So we got to talk to everything. All right. So, and I'm glad you brought that point up about waiting. Um, Joseph didn't want to wait, but he acted like he did. So everybody thinks Joseph was, oh, it'll happen someday. No, he's human, just like the rest. He was human,
Mhm.
just like the rest of us. Yeah, he was wondering when is this going to happen,
Yeah.
and so many women are, and so we step into the middle of all that. That's what we do, and
Mhm.
we help encourage you, give you information. Information is powerful, and we exhort you, and we love you in the midst of it all.
Mhm. Mhm. I love it. And when is the conference?
It's October 9th through the 11th on the Riverwalk in San Antonio, baby.
And what how many years have you been doing it so far?
This is my very first year. Most
Good.
of the summits I've done most of my summits I've done virtually.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I said, ooh, the lady said, when we did the pop the balloons, the lady says, ooh, I prefer in-person events. And I said, well, let me give them an in-person event.
But you know what? That is the mark of a true entrepreneur. Give the people what they want. I'm not mad. I'm mad at you.
And
Listen.
Coach Ken Canyon is
Yeah.
our keynote. Yeah. And then we have tons of other speakers. We got matchmakers, relationship coaches. One of the relationship coaches, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going, if you're a VIP, you get to go out on the river walk with her and she's going to bring your wing woman. She's going to be your wing woman. Okay. All right. on the Riverwalk in San Antonio.
I
Okay.
know that's right.
All right. And then uh, who else I wanted to tell you guys about? It's just we got a comedian coming. We're going to do some speed dating, and we're going to do pitch your bestie for the women and
Mm,
pitch your buddy for the men. So if you got friends who say you need to be married, whether they're married or single, they
mhm,
can come and pitch you to the audience.
mm. Let me ask you this. I think it's the elephant in the room for the ladies. And I was just reading some discourse on social media. Someone posed a question in this group, this co-ed group, and they were asking, like, for the fellas, what keeps you from coming to like singles events? And they said, and it was just interesting reading like their thoughts in their heart, and they have their reasons, because it's just like a single man walking into the church, right? All eyes on you, and you feel like fresh meat. And there's not an opportunity. They don't feel seen as a person. They feel like it's an audition, and others are auditioning for whatever spot, right? So same kind of question here, like, what is the will the men be in the building, is the question.
We are doing everything within our power to make that happen.
Hmm.
Our goal is to have 75 women and 75 men.
Got you.
Now, we ain't trying to match nobody. We just trying to make sure it's even Steven. Now,
Yeah.
don't get mad if it's 50 men, you know what I mean, and 100 women, but that's okay, or
Yes.
whatever. But we are doing everything we can. My event planner is in conversation with the 100 Black men in San Antonio
Mm,
and a few other people. So we are actively going after the men.
I
Okay.
got you.
And we're offering the opportunity to anybody who wants to be an affiliate or an ambassador to join us and to invite your male friends. And we'll give you a nice little commission for everybody who shows up to go up. Okay.
Mhm,
Remember the
mhm,
vertical? We
mhm,
going up. Okay. All right. And so we're being intentional about that.
mhm.
Mhm.
That's good. That's good. I couldn't have this conversation with you and not talk about that, because I know
Okay.
that's something that is prevalent for sure. But speaking of that, and having conversations across the aisle, and just being in spaces where there can be refreshing dialogue, right? Like taking the pressure off of, is my wife going to be, is my wife in here? Is my husband in here? Is he the one? The pressure, but just to be human and have conversations with the opposite sex. I think that that's a lost art. But I also think that it can be so um, powerful and empowering and educational, just to be able to hear the heart of the opposite sex. So with
So
that, go ahead.
so Saturday is the day. Saturday is the day where the men are going to have their own panel and the women are going to have their panel. And
Hmm.
then we're going to switch panels.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
panel for the men are going to come to the women, and the panel for the women are going to go to the men. Okay. And then we're going to bring everybody into the same room and we're going to do a Q&A. Okay. So that panel will consist of tons of experts that can address a multiple subjects. Okay. So I'm sharing that with you to let you know we want dialogue. One
Mhm.
of the reasons why this is so important to me is because back in the day, when I first got saved, and I won't tell you how many years ago, but it was decades ago. Okay. I was in a singles group, and that singles group, we would do what we were scheduled to do at the church.
Mhm.
And then we would have after hour sessions where the men and the women would come together, no pressure, and we
Mhm.
would ask the guys the questions that we wanted to ask them about men. And
Mhm.
they would ask us the questions that they wanted to ask about women. So my that's the genesis of this whole movement, the beauty of that connectivity and the amount of equipping that was happening in that room on a casual basis.
Mhm.
Okay. And in that church, we did things like the dating game. We had a
Mhm.
dating game, and we would have all kinds of events, galas for the singles, that kind of thing. But that's been a while ago, a couple of decades ago. But I think now it's very important for us to take that realm back and be intentional about making connections that last.
Mhm. Now, I have no doubt that you and your team have it covered. I have no doubt. And we don't even want to give too much away. We want to leave something to be desired for those that are going to show up, for the wow factor and the razzle dazzle. But for those that are watching either here live or on the replay, right? What are when it comes to like that dialogue and that exchange and the richness of it, the opportunities that at times feel few and far between, when they do happen, and based on like your vantage point being that triage love broker in that position, what would you say men and women each are carrying into the dating space at this stage that they're not saying out loud? And what do they need to understand about each other?
I think two things. I don't think that they're recognizing the value of authenticity.
Mm,
That's one thing, because it's a natural occurrence for when we start a relationship to bring our best selves.
mm-hmm,
And then culture molds us and shapes us and brings certain expectations to the table that perhaps hinder us forming the relationships that we desire. That's one thing. Then the other thing I think is that people have lost hope. They say they want something, and they've been saying it so long, and they show up like they want something,
mm-hmm,
but they don't really do what
mm-hmm.
they need to do to possess the land. For example, I want to be married. That's what a woman will say. I want to be married.
Yep.
And the short kings keep showing up. Them short kings, I mean, they if everywhere I go, there is a short king. Do you hear me? I want what everybody else wants. Tall, dark, handsome. I want that. NFL, I want that kind of guy. Look, you must become an investigator. Yeah, you know what you want, but investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Investigate. And once you investigate, and if it's still not what you want, then no, genuinely,
Mm-hmm.
that's not what you want. But we don't want to take the risk because we've taken the risk in other areas
Mm.
prematurely and we've been burnt.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are my two observations. But we want to set, no, we will set an environment where you can dream again, where you can hope again, where you can love again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I'm not God. My team, we aren't God. I can't guarantee when you come to Love on Purpose conference that you're going to walk away with Mr. Right or Miss Right. But I can guarantee you will leave loved, you will leave equipped, and you'll leave ready. You'll be ready for your next level
Mm-hmm.
to take a step towards wholeness. Yeah.
And I think that's a good distinction. One to be clear about, there's no guarantees, but two, the distinction for a singles event, it's an event for singles. It's not a matchmaking experience, and the two conflate more often than we probably care to admit, right? But just because it's for singles does not mean it's intended for it to be the love boat, right? So I love that you said that. Now let's talk about something real quick that I know is going to get some feathers ruffled. There's people paying five figures for dating coaches
Mhm.
and matchmakers to help them find love. Is it worth it? Who is it actually for? And what does it say about people who and how seriously they're finally taking it to make love a priority?
I mean, I applaud them for taking a leap of faith. I've heard the stories where people have hired certain folks and nothing
Mhm,
ever happened and they wasted their money and they went on a dating app and they didn't pay anything and they met
mhm,
somebody. I've heard those stories. I think it's the most important thing in that regard is the step of faith that you take. I think that's more important than the dollar amount. Now, I'll be honest and transparent with you.
mhm,
Before I spend that kind of money, I would need to vet the person seriously.
mhm,
I would also need to talk to some of their success stories. I do my research and see what the industry norm is in regards to cost. So
mhm.
I would make an informed decision. I wouldn't make an emotional decision. See, that's the difference.
I got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
So if I, for example, Jennifer J. Hayes, I sent one of my play daughters. I have play daughters, by the way. They just adopt me, and sometimes I adopt them, but most of the time they adopt me. And she went to see Jennifer, and Jennifer just, they talked about relationships,
Mhm,
and she fell in love with Jennifer. Jennifer didn't do any matchmaking with her, but Jennifer is a certified matchmaker. And Jennifer charges buku dollars for her services.
mhm.
Okay? But Jennifer meets you where you are. Diane Brandon Moody is a relationship coach.
Mhm.
She found her husband in, I think it was Craigslist. She placed an ad
Wow.
and they told her story in the New York Times. And so she was like 40s, late 40s, and she's happily married. And so she can help people. She's jumped into this the neurosensitive side of things. Um, and all that wonderful kind of stuff. She would be better to explain it to you than me. What I'm saying is different people have different specialty areas.
Mhm,
To know yourself enough to know if number one, this person can really help you, and
mhm.
number two, do you want them to help you? And
Yep.
number three, Is it worth investment? It's a personal decision.
Got you. Got you. Now, before we wrap, let's play a quick round of this or that. It'll be rapid fire. There's no explanations. Just your first instinct. Okay.
Okay.
Dinner date or coffee date?
Coffee.
Love at first sight or love over time?
I'm a romantic. You know my answer.
Talking stage or no talking stage?
Talking stage.
Dating app or divine appointment?
Divine appointment.
Grand gesture or quiet consistency?
I like the consistency.
Fall in love in your city or destination romance?
Destination romance.
Butterflies or peace?
At my age, peace.
Second chances or fresh starts?
Second chances.
Oh, wow. Now I done shot myself in the foot because I said no explanation, but okay. Thank you for playing along and being a good sport.
Of course. I want
So,
to let your people know, Danielle, before
yeah,
we leave, and I'm sorry
you're
for
fine.
cutting you off, that the facts that I shared um, are on our loveonpurpose.fun website. Two research studies that talk about Black marriage in America and Black singles 40 plus and above are available on the loveonpurpose.fun website. And I put those together for you.
Just for us?
Yeah,
Wow.
just for you all. Because um, I always want to leave you with something valuable. Yeah. And
Much appreciated. Is that
yeah,
it? Or is
yeah.
it I love? Okay,
Loveonpurpose.fun. Mm-hmm.
got it. Well, that was so sweet of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, we open tonight with a bold declaration. It's not too late for love. I don't care what you've been thinking, what you came to this live stream, either live or on the replay with, right? It's not too late for love. And they say with two or more, the good book says with two or more are gathered, right? So whatever that is that you came with, Sharon and I are playing whack-a-mole with it, right? Even if you're not on board yet. So it's not too late for love. And now that we have gone deep, and there was still so much that we did not cover, because we could go on and on and on. But and if there is more that is left to be desired, you might want to pull up on Sharon and her crew of experts and other singles down in San Antonio in October. So Sharon, what do you want every person watching this to walk away believing that they didn't believe before they tuned in tonight?
You are worthy to be loved, and you are worthy to write your own love story.
You know, that's my favorite part. And how can viewers find you, work with you, attend Love on Purpose, the conference, and stay connected?
Well, simply go to loveonpurpose.fun. Okay. I am on Instagram. I'm on TikTok as the Love Broker. I think I'm in TikTok jail, but I'm still on TikTok. Ah, I'm on Instagram as Sharon C. Jenkins, and one of my favorite social media platforms is LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as Sharon C. Jenkins.
Awesome. Sharon, I can't thank you enough for lending your genius, your heart, your wit, and all of the things. Just your presence. I have sincerely enjoyed this. And we may have to run it back because there's some things that we did not have a chance or time to cover. Which is to be expected. And I should have known this based on our first conversation, right? Like we can go a couple miles in this lane. But thank you for what you do. Thank you for pun intended positioning yourselves in between us and the love that we desire, and instilling in us hope, as we exhaust the possibilities, as my good brother Lorenz said. With that, is anything else that you wanted to share with people, Sharon? Are you good?
Just that I will be doing this until I say hello to Jesus. That's how serious I am about helping you find the love you deserve.
I love that. So head to loveonpurpose.fun for more information about what Sharon has got going on. And if there's something about what I said that I do that piques your interest, I invite you to attend my upcoming masterclass on planning your six-figure pivot. I'll be sharing 7 keys to transitioning out of your well-paid career without regret. All you have to do is go to www.daniellethecoach.com/masterclass. Registration is free, and submit your registration and I'll send you the private meeting location. It's just that simple. Sharon, I will see you in these digital and barter black streets. Don't be a stranger, and I wish you much success and an overwhelmingly positive turnout for the Love on Purpose conference in October.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see y'all next time.